Have you ever walked into a Sunday with your camera unsure of exactly what you should be capturing? Well, you're not alone. It's something every new church photographer actually struggles with. I've had the opportunity to lead a growing creative team at my church, helping people with zero creative experience turn their passion into incredible photography skills. And here's something right off the bat that I've learned. No team wins without a proper plan. And the same is actually true for us photographers. If you want to capture amazing content on Sunday, it all starts with your shot list. And in this video, I'll help you create the ultimate Sunday shot list so you'll never feel unprepared again. By the end, you'll know exactly how to walk into every single Sunday and capture every moment with confidence. Let's dive into the video. What's going on, y'all? We are here. We're talking through all things shot list today. This has been something that has been kind of running a running question I've been getting a lot across the board in my DMs and comments. How do we piece together a shot list? So I thought, why don't we put together a video that kind of talks about that and dives into it. I got my notes, I got my phone, I got my water because there's a little tickle in my throat, Lord. Help your boy out. But hey, I'm super excited about this one. Without further ado, let's kind of dive right in. Before we actually dive into the actual shot list, there's some things that we actually need to talk about and understand first that will affect how you shape your shot list, right? So to answer the question or to the title of this video right off the bat, like let's dive into it. And after I answer this, I mean, technically you could log off, though I highly encourage that you stay with me so I can further explain what I'm about to say. But here it is. The shot list every photographer needs is the shot list that your church needs. I'm gonna just let that sit for 3 seconds, okay? The shot list every church photographer, every church team needs is the shots that your church needs. Well, what do I mean by that? What I mean is that our content should be a solution to a problem. Like, we're not just aimlessly, or we shouldn't just be aimlessly shooting, just wandering around at your service, at your church on a Sunday, trying to figure out what you should grab. No, our content should be a solution to a problem. Like our content should serve a purpose. That purpose being to aid in the vision of the church. Whoa, let me just slow that down again. Okay. Our content should serve a purpose, that purpose being an aid in the vision of the church. So the content that we capture should actually complement like what our church is trying to do. So the first question really shouldn't be, what should my shot list be? Like the first question should be, what are the needs of my church and how can photography be of help to that? Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. Because here's the thing, like nothing, well, let me say it like this. Like, yeah, bad content is like a thing. Like the shot is not shot right. The edit looks bad. The composition looks bad. The photo may be blurry, right? Like that's a thing. But I would actually submit to you or argue that nothing is actually worse than unusable content. Like bad content, yeah, that's a thing and that's bad. But there's actually nothing worse than unusable content. And I'm not talking about unusable because again, it's shot bad, it looks bad, it's whatever. It's blurry, right? No, I'm talking about like the edit looks good, the composition looks good, the way you've composed it looks great, but it's just simply unusable because it's not actually helping any. Like that, I would argue or I would submit that there's nothing worse than that. Okay. And it's unusable because it's not fitting any vision. It's not helping us accomplish anything. It's not helping us capture like the heart of what we're trying to do here as a church. Like nothing is worse than unusable content. So I say that all to say everyone's shot list, if we think of it like this, could be and should be potentially different because every church's needs might be different. Like what my church is focused on may be different than what your church is focused on. So as a result, our shot list might be different. It should be different because I'm capturing to help push a vision over here. Does that make sense? So right off the gate, before we get into like the nitty gritties of a shot list, we need to know our church's vision. Okay. What is your church's vision? You need to know that. Okay, because that again shapes how we build a shot list. All right, y'all. Quick break from the video because I've got something that's gonna make your Sundays so much smoother. Y'all ready? All right, lean in here for a sec. Look, I know how tough it could be to get clean, crispy church photo content, especially if you're just starting out. The lighting isn't always perfect, you're moving fast, it's a big Sunday and you got a lot on your plate. This is why I created the Sunday Starter Pack, y'all. It's a set of 6 custom LUTs and presets that I designed specifically for church photography. These are the exact ones that I actually use to instantly elevate the look of our photos at our church, helping us turn just okay content into content that's sharp, attractive, and consistent. The best part? They're beginner friendly, super easy to teach your volunteers. If you want to save time editing, create content that elevates your church's look, and set a consistent standard for your team, grab the Sunday Starter Pack today. The link's right below in the description, y'all. Trust me, this pack will make your Sundays and your content a whole lot better. All right, let's jump back in. So we need to know our church's vision. Next, we need to know our church's culture. Like, what is your church like? What are the simple things, the staple things that your church chooses to emphasize on or focus on? Like, what makes your church stand out? Like, for an example, for our church, we're heavy family culture. Like, we got this thing we throw around our fam. Like, it's not something that we take lightly. So as a result, that culture piece affects our shot list because we know that we need to make sure that we're capturing family-esque content. Does that make sense? So what is your church's culture? And why don't we harp and lean into that? Okay? Why don't we shoot that? So we need to know our church's vision. We need to know our church's culture. And next we need to know our church's season. Okay? What I mean by this? What I mean is, what is the season that your church is in? Because here's the thing. One focus in one season might be different than a focus in another season, right? So what is your church specifically in this season trying to focus on? Is it teams? Okay, so if your church is focusing on teams, we know that's going to affect the shot list for this season because we know we need to go ahead and capture team culture. We need to capture some of our serving teams out there doing their thing. Okay, maybe your church wants to focus on baptisms, right? So you know that you need to be heavy on the photography when it comes to the baptism side of things, right? So you need to take a step back and see, okay, what is my church actually trying to accomplish in this season? And how can my content be a solution to that, be an aid to that? Does that make sense? Okay, here's a culture code that our team actually goes by that I want to give to y'all. We say this around my church. We say it like this. We plan to win, but we're ready to pivot. Okay, so what do I mean by that? I say this because I've gotten questions and I've gotten statements. Well, I don't want to be trapped by a shot list. I don't want to be, Joe, I don't want to be like hunkered down, and I don't want to be like, I want to be able to express my creativity and just capture what I want. Okay, well, I say to that, well, do that then. Don't be trapped or held down by, okay, don't. But my next question to that is, but what does having direction, what does that hurt? Like, by you having a game plan for the day, what does that hurt? Okay, no one's holding you in a chokehold and saying, okay, if you get a plan, like you have to do the plan. No, like, okay, have a game plan, but also be open. That's why we say, and we made it part of our culture code, that we plan to win, but we're ready to pivot, because we have a plan for the day, but we're ready to pivot. Meaning, if Holy Spirit inspires something, we'll go capture that too. Here's the thing. Think of it like this. Put it in sports terms. Every quarterback has the opportunity to call an audible. Okay? Every quarterback has the opportunity to call an audible. But watch this. There's still an initial play that's called. It's the same thing with us. We have a play that's called, but we're ready to audible whenever we sense or whenever we see that, okay? You need a plan for the day, but you also want to leave room for Holy Spirit, because this is a spiritual task that we're doing. Does that make sense? Okay, so having a list actually helps you pace your Sunday. Okay. So we plan, and then we also, with the plan, it gives us a pace for our Sunday. Here's 2 thoughts that I want to give you to make sure that you add to your list creation. 2 thoughts to think through as you're getting ready to plan out your list creation. The first one is you want to make sure that you don't overcomplicate the list. Okay. Don't overcomplicate your shot list, y'all. Like I've seen some people have shot me their shot list, and it's like super, you got all types of stuff on there. No. You don't want to overcomplicate it, because that's just going to wear you down. That's just going to put a lot of pressure. That's going to put a lot of stress. No, you don't want to overcomplicate the list, right? You want it simple. You want it clear. The Bible says, write the vision on the walls and make it plain. Okay. So we want to make it plain, and we want to make it clear. Okay. And the next one is we want to give our shots a time frame. Okay. Give your shots a time frame, meaning that how we roll, how our teams roll at my church is that our goal is by the end. We have 3 services. We have 8, we have a 10, and we have a 12. Our rule of thumb is by the end of the 10 o'clock, our second service, like we should be done. You say, Joe, how is that possible? Well, because we have a plan, and we give ourselves a time frame. So we say, okay, from the 8 o'clock service, okay, from the 8 o'clock, here's by the end of the 8 o'clock, here's all the content or all the areas from our shot list that we want to grab. Okay. And even we get a little bit more fine tuned. So we say, okay, inside of the 8, by the time we get done with worship, we have this much content captured. Okay. And by the end of the message or the middle of the message, we have this one captured, because I'm going to move to the kids area next. I'm going to capture this. So by the time the 8 o'clock's done, we have all of this content captured. Okay. And then we get a little more detailed in the 10 o'clock. Okay. So going into 10, we're looking over the content that we have, reshooting anything that we might need to grab, adding to anything we might need to grab. And then we're also finishing out the rest of our shot list. So by the end of the 10, we're basically done. We're able to actually go in and attend our 3rd service at our 12 o'clock. You need to give your shots a time frame. Okay. So don't overcomplicate the list. And you want to give your shots a time frame. Don't make your list too long. Have a rule of thumb, like with it. Have key coverage areas is how I like to put it. And you'll see, I'm about to explain it a little bit more once we jump down here in a second to just our shot list that we rerun with. But we have key coverage areas, and the rule of thumb for us is for each thing that we grab, we just want to make sure that we got a good balance of portrait and landscape. Meaning we want to shoot vertical content and we want to shoot horizontal content. So don't make the list too long, right? And give your shots a time frame. Okay. I want to stick this in here because some of y'all in here, I was thinking about y'all. Some of y'all were like, I'm a solo shooter. I don't have a big team. It's just me, and I don't even have multiple services. It's just me. Well, that's cool. For you don't have the excuse, or don't let the pressure that's a better way to put it. Don't let the pressure of like the Sunday and what you need to capture like dog you down. Okay. Because my question is to this: who said that you need to capture your whole entire church in just one Sunday? Who told you that? Where'd you get that idea? Okay. Like, what would happen if you were to just pace your content over the course of a month? Because let's be realistic. That would be kind of really hard as one person to capture your whole entire church. That could be a lot. I understand that. So my question is, what would happen if you were to just pace your content over the course of a month? Like, what if for the first Sunday you focused on 2 things, and then second Sunday you focused on 2 things, and then third Sunday you focused on a thing, and then fourth, like, what would happen then? So by the time we get through 1 month, you have your whole church captured. Like, think about that for a sec. Like, no one necessarily like is making you try to, no. What if you were to just pace your content? Okay. Don't allow the pressure, or like false belief is really what it is. It's like a false narrative, a false belief that we put on ourselves. Okay. Let me just free some of y'all. Y'all don't have to do that. Pace your content out. We want to pace our content. Okay. Hope this is helping. Have the shot list, right? And one other thing that I want to dive into before we get to the back end of this, you want to have your shot list, right? But don't beat yourself up if you miss something on your shot list. Because this is another thing that I've oftentimes encountered, even with my personal teams, like, man, we didn't capture XYZ. That's okay. There's 51 more Sundays in the month or in the year rather, that we can go ahead and make sure that we capture what we need to capture. The truth is, y'all, like, we're going to miss moments. Like, it's just inevitable. We're going to miss some moments, but why don't we use this to our advantage versus letting it beat us up? What I mean is, like, if you miss something, that can just give you something else to add to next week. It's actually helping you stay ahead. If you want to think of it like that, it really is. Because if I miss something in the worship moment, I know that that's something that I can look for next Sunday. Okay. So don't necessarily beat yourself up when it comes to missing moments, because we're going to miss moments. Just make a note of it and then add that to the list for next week. Okay. To help us further with this whole shot list thing, I actually put together what I'm calling the vision-driven shot list questionnaire. It's a guide of questions that helps you ask yourself the right questions to help you identify what needs to be on your shot list. And this is a giveaway. I'm giving this away. All you gotta do is check the description. I have a link there. You can download it, and it has tons of questions that help you fine tune your shot list for your specific church needs. So before you click off and go to something else, make sure that you check the description and download that and start getting a roadmap for yourself based off fine tuning some of these needs that your church might have. Okay. So I'm going to give this to y'all. And again, this is just like a guide. This is how we do it. I'm not saying that this is the way. This is just a way, and it's been working for us. And again, it's going to be different for your church's needs. But if you need a starter, a jump start, I'm going to give you ours. How we operate is pretty much like, especially for this season we're in, like, we know consistently each week. Sorry, words are hard. We know consistently each week that we're going to need these areas covered. We're going to need content for these areas. And I'm gonna give it to you right here. First one is worship. So the worship means our worship leaders. It means the congregation and / the audience. And it means worship moments, right? So how our kind of worship rolls at our house is that during our worship moments, we have people come up for prayer. So that's part of the worship moment. So we just need to make sure that we have content captured for that. The next one is speakers. And this is pretty straightforward. This is not necessarily rocket science, okay? Speakers. That means our service hosts, meaning anybody that's going to be on the stage communicating anything. We want to make sure we grab some content of that, some photos of that. And we also have our pastor or whoever's communicating for that Sunday. Okay. So we have worship, speakers. Next one is campus life. Okay. So these are team huddles. They're people that are serving, the interactions of people, smiles. We're heavy on the smiles around here. With campus life, we're capturing the thing that basically makes like our church the difference. So when people see our content like online, they actually want to, it looks like a place that they actually want to come to. Okay. So that's campus life. The next one, we have community. So that's people getting prayer. Okay. Those are talking conversations, people talking around the church, hugs. And again, heavy on the smiles. We're heavier on the smiles when it comes to grabbing our content. And the last one is next gen. So those are babies, kids, students, our next generation. We want to make sure we capture that. That's literally it. And we have a rule of thumb, like make sure that we capture both horizontal and vertical, landscape and portrait content. It's simple, y'all. It's simple. Now, there'll come seasons where, like, again, like I just said at the top, like we're specifically focusing on some stuff and then we'll add those little special moments in. But in terms of like the week to week stuff, we're rolling with the same play because it's working. So you need to find out what your church's needs are and develop a play that's going to work. And notice again, it's simple. This is not something that's been burdensome, something that I have to consistently or constantly like tweak. No, we have a play that we're running. It's working. And when a season comes when we need to shift to something different, we'll shift to something different. Okay. We don't have to make this hard. Like, like this should not be something that like we're stressing about. Okay. Yeah. So I'm praying that this has helped, has been a solution. this is literally it. So that's a wrap on creating this ultimate shot list. I hope this gave you some clarity. This is my prayer, that it gave you some clarity and some confidence for your next shoot at your church. If you got any questions, please do not hesitate to drop them in the comments. It's been, I've been loving jumping in the comments, jumping in the DMs, answering any questions that y'all have. I'm looking to connect with y'all. So please don't just watch this video, engage with me. I'd love to help you out any way that you need possible. Remember, check the description to pick up the vision-driven shot list. And if you found this helpful, go ahead, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more tips to help you level up your creative skills. And remember, you're created to create. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.